Hey everyone, and welcome to SkillCapped. I'm the King Live, and today we're going to be telling you about the new meta that has been dominating pro play. You may have been plagued by the Stinger meta that had been around for a while, and although that may have gone in past, the meta has started to shift, and now we are seeing a lot more professional players opt to buy the Spectre, which honestly makes sense given the fact that the Spectre is the more expensive weapon. You'd think players would be favoring it. But we're going to get into the other reasons the Spectre is so strong right now, so just sit with us here for a bit as we get into it. But before we do, let's introduce our question of the day, which is, do you watch professional Valorant? And if you do, what is your favorite team to cheer for? Professional games are what shapes the meta for the most part, so I figured this was a decent question for everyone. It'll also give us a good idea of what regions to keep an eye on as well, so be sure to leave your reply in the comments below. Anyway though, why exactly is everyone buying the Spectre? Well, there are a couple of reasons. The first one that you'd expect to hear, of course, is that the Stinger got nerfed, so obviously players are going to default to buying the Spectre since it's the closest thing to the Stinger. After the nerfs, you're seeing the Stinger sit at a pricier 1100 credits, while the Spectre still remains only 500 credits more at 1600. Many players, because of this, are even opting to go Spectre light armor rather than even Stinger heavy armor, just because the Spectre is far more versatile than the Stinger after the nerfs, meaning you are less likely to get caught in an engagement that does not favor you for the second round. The other reason the Spectre is just so good right now though is because, and you guessed it I'm sure, the run and gun in Valorant is still pretty crazy accurate, especially with the Spectre. The Riot devs have come out and said that they want to leave run and gun semi-accurate on SMGs because they feel that's how they're meant to be used, or something like that. And whether that is healthy for the game or not doesn't really matter. What matters is that it's possible and you should abuse it when you can. Just for an example, in the background, here's a couple clips of me run and gunning people with the Spectre in deathmatch. And now this may be the most toxic thing I've ever done, so please don't report me, but it's just to give you all a picture of what the Spectre is capable of. One of the other reasons this is so great on second round though, and if you watched any of our recent videos, we released a video about the Sheriff meta that has been taking place. Lots of players have been buying the Sheriff pistol round and keeping it for second round because it's that cost efficient. However, because the Spectre is so good while on the move, we can take advantage of this and use it to make fights with Sheriff players easier because it's so much harder to use the Sheriff on a moving target than it is on a standing still target. Now we're going to move on to some more statistics about what makes the Spectre good, but before we do, I highly want to recommend, if you haven't already, be sure to head on over to skillcapped.com and check out all of the things we have to offer. We have up-to-date lineups, courses on how to climb with all agents, Smurf commentaries where a higher rank player walks you through how to carry in your rank, and so much more. Come join over 500,000 satisfied members, improve that KDA, and get the rank that you've always wanted at skillcapped.com. Link in the description below. Going back to the Spectre though, when using the Spectre, it's important to remember your optimal engagements are going to be below 20 meters in range. The further away you get, the wider your spray is going to get, and the more difficult it'll be for you to land a kill. It's also important to remember that the Spectre faces a damage fall off past 20 meters, so this will also make it difficult to kill your targets. Now this doesn't mean if your target is further than 20 meters, don't even try to shoot at them. The Spectre is still fairly accurate when burst firing, but it's just something to keep in mind. I don't highly recommend ADSing with the Spectre though, unless you feel you're going to be fighting very far distances, because ADSing will slow down your fire rate, which is generally not optimal when using an SMG. One of the great things about the Spectre, however, when compared to other guns, is it's still a fairly decent gun to use versus rifles, meaning it's a great weapon to take into bonus round if you have the opportunity. The Spectre only takes 2 shots to the head within 20 meters to kill a fully armored target, which, as we mentioned before, since the burst firing with the Spectre is so accurate, you can actually accomplish this pretty easily with decent crosshair placement. This means rather than upgrading for third round, you can keep your Spectre from the second round and use it to help build up a decent economy for your team throughout the early rounds. It's important to remember, however, even though we are calling this a Spectre meta, the Spectre very much does not replace a rifle in Valorant. Rifles are considered the strongest weapon in Valorant because of how versatile they are. Although the Spectre is an excellent second round buy and a decent weapon to carry into the third round bonus, if you have the opportunity to use a rifle, generally it is smarter to take that rifle. As we mentioned before, the Spectre is one of the strongest weapons to use while on the run in Valorant, and a lot of players will use this as an excuse to not practice and understand movement mechanics within the game. It's always important to remember things like run and gun should not be used as a replacement for learning mechanics, but instead used strategically after you've built up a decent understanding of those mechanics. However, I say this because this is a guide channel and our goal is to help you improve as a player. At the end of the day though, this is a video game, so just do what makes you happy. Another gun that many of you may be comparing the Spectre to right now would possibly be the Bucky. And although shotguns like the Bucky and the Judge may be incredibly strong right now, they're still not nearly as strong as the Spectre is at range, which is why most teams opt to purchase the Spectre instead and position themselves carefully so that they can take gunfights from further away. The Bucky might be a decent alternative to the Spectre on defense since you can choose where you take your encounters from, but it's not nearly as mobile as the Spectre when attacking or attempting to retake take a sight, and that is why the Spectre will always be king in that department. Shotguns tend to require players to play niche angles, and that sort of limitation can be really difficult to deal with when you're playing the game, and this is why you'll see many players opt to buy the Spectres on their second round buy instead of shotguns. However, if you are planning to play a position like hookah or U-Haul, for example, maybe a shotgun would be your weapon of choice, as these are very close angles in which a shotgun would be stronger than a Spectre. Keep in mind, pretty much all guns in Valorant are strong when they're put in the right conditions. This is why it's important to know what those conditions are. If you're wondering how prominent the Spectre meta is right now, it's actually a massive thing at the very least in European Valorant. It seems like whatever team wins the first round will almost always force up all Spectres full shields, which actually isn't that surprising to me because Europe was one of the first regions to jump onto the Frenzy meta as well. On screen, you'll notice we have a few rounds playing from Heretics and Defuse where their entire team just opts to buy Spectre full armor after wins. The only exception to this being when players can afford to buy a Bulldog full armor instead, which makes sense since the Bulldog is going to be a very strong bonus round weapon versus rifles as well. Most of the time when using a Spectre, you'll notice that the pros like to crouch when spraying and oftentimes even throw in little movements with this as well. You'll notice in this round from Defuse, Logan is going to be playing over in Wine while waiting for his teammate to flash him out of A main. They're playing off of the enemy team's noise right now, so once Fun plus Phoenix begins to make a move, Breach is going to flash and Logan is going to peek. You'll notice as Logan peeks, he basically just goes into a full spray. There's not a lot of mechanics being used here to control this spray other than crouching, and this is because that's just how the Spectre is used. As the kids say, Spectre go brr. If you're not sure why this is, it's just because of the combination of the movement accuracy on the Spectre being so good, and then the crouch moving accuracy for all guns already being incredibly strong. When you combine the two, you can literally crab walk your way to victory. I could keep talking about the Spectre if you guys would like, but to be honest, there's not much more to go over. It's a budget gun that is incredibly strong right now and incredibly easy to use. In fact, there's not really a lot of incorrect ways to use the Spectre right now, so if you're looking for the best budget gun in Valorant to purchase, the Spectre might be your go-to gun. Lastly, remember, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank that you've always wanted, be sure to check out SkillCapped.com. Link in the description below. I hope this guide was helpful to introduce you all to what's been going on in pro play recently. I've been seriously popping off with the Spectre recently, so I know firsthand how strong it can really be. If you guys enjoyed this guide, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below to be updated with our future content, and don't forget to let us know who your favorite pro team is to watch in the comments down below. Would love to hear who you guys are cheering for. As always, I'm the King Live, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.